This segment is brought to you by Waits and Downer, attorneys at law.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Thank you for joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. And listen, it's the time of year when we really need to think about fire safety. We need to think about how to do that. One of the best ways we can do is by asking Ken Pastorak to come on with us. Ken, thank you for joining us today.
Keith, thanks for having me.
All right, we appreciate it. Of course, Ken works with Louisiana State Fire Marshal's Office, a public affairs director. And, you know, I know it's one of these times of years where it's really hot outside, but we've also got all of these people thinking about 4th of July, thinking about doing fireworks. What are some of the things we need to start thinking about now, Ken, to get prepared for that?
Well, 4th of July is known for fireworks. I mean, fireworks shows all over the place, and the best way to enjoy fireworks is to watch somebody put a show on. But I know that in South Louisiana, we love to pop fireworks. I did when I was a kid. I know you did. Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to do it safely. And as adults, we need to make sure our children are doing it safely. So if you have a young child, it's not a good idea to have that young child do fireworks. We would like them to do something like a glow stick or something like that would be in place of a firework. If
Right.
you are going to let your children do fireworks, please supervise them, be around them at all times, make sure they're doing them properly. We want to light these fireworks at least 200 feet away from a building, vehicles and flammable things like that. So we don't want to start a fire. That would make a terrible 4th of July.
Right.
And another thing we look at is of course, during fireworks, during the 4th of July, some people may enjoy a beverage or two. So we don't want to do fireworks when we're impaired or we are on drugs or what have you. That's not a good thing either. That can lead to some terrible things and could lead to someone getting hurt.
Right.
We ask people to light one firework at a time, and you light multiple fireworks. You know, the danger there, Keith, is that we don't know where these fireworks may go. I mean, if you shoot a rocket or you throw firecrackers here or there and they go everywhere, and you could put other people in harm's way and could cause some serious injury, and it could even lead to death.
Right. You know, Ken, you mentioned that glow stick. You know, it's really interesting. I don't know that people realize how hot a sparkler actually burns. And they think that that's something for a child, but glow sticks are is for a child, not a sparkler.
And that's a good idea. And you mentioned that. I remember as a child, I was burned by a sparkler.
Oh, my.
It burned very, very hot. I had to go to the hospital and get looked at and cause second-degree burns, and it was very painful. So, yeah, I mean, you also have to look at the potential of somebody getting poked in the eye with one of these things. And I have a friend of mine, and it's that I have the injury. A friend of mine lost her eye because of back in the day when you had the bottle rockets. They don't have those anymore like they used to.
Right.
But somebody shot a bottle rocket and went into her eye and exploded, and she lost her eye. So fireworks, while they're beautiful and they're fun and they're exciting, they're also very dangerous.
Right.
You have to handle them with care and you have to handle them with respect, because if you don't, it could land you in the hospital, it could land you in the mortuary. That's not a good thing.
Right. You know, the other thing is these people who do professional fireworks, all of that has to be evaluated and assessed, and somebody comes out and assesses those pre-launch, correct?
That's right. The fire marshal's office inspects these to make sure they're done correctly. I know in Baton Rouge, we have a big fireworks display that happens on the 4th of July. We watch it. My family watches that every year. I know all around the state, they have different fireworks displays, and they're all very beautiful. They're safe because professionals set these things off. And again, the fire marshal's office inspects to make sure they're doing these correctly. Here's a statistic for you. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, more than 200 people per day are treated in emergency rooms for fireworks-related injuries around the Independence holiday. So we don't want you to be one of those statistics. We want you to be safe and enjoy the 4th.
Yeah, and again, here in Louisiana, we enjoy having fun. We really like to celebrate, but we need to do it smart. We need to do it intelligently. We need to make sure we're not impaired, as you mentioned. We need to make sure that we have the right fireworks for the right age. and we need to do those one at a time. What a great recommendation, because people love to see those fireworks going off more than once. If you're doing them individually, do one at a time, and they get to last longer, right? The kids get to be mesmerized for a lot longer, if you will, but there's a smarter way to do it, and it seems like these are some really good recommendations. Maybe it seems like common sense, but I think sometimes we forget how to do that sometimes when we want to have fun with the kids.
True, and one thing we do want to emphasize is when the fireworks are done and you're cleaning up, to make sure and douse those fireworks that are on the ground, to make sure that they're out. There are no embers, because if you put a firework that's still an ember into a garbage can, it can create a fire, and then that fire in the garbage can could turn into a fire at the house, because we have seen where people have had garbage cans next to a house with something inside of it that catches fire, and then the house catches on fire, and all of a sudden the house is gone. So that would not be a good 4th of July. So please, please, please exercise these safety tips. And again, when you get done with the fireworks, douse them with water to completely extinguish the embers so that they don't cause a fire.
And make sure that they're, it's interesting you mentioned that you were harmed by a firework when you were younger, and that you had a friend with their eye put out. Our family lost their family camp because of they put those in the garbage can, and they reignited. Make sure that they're out. Make sure they're age appropriate. Kim, we thank you so much for your time. We want everybody to be safe and healthy and not be a statistic here this 4th of July.
Thanks, Keith. Have a happy 4th. Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. I got a whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Waits and Downer, attorneys at law.